sure?
Not sure.
I don't know if it's gonna fit.
Slip is not big enough.
No. So why don't you try? Let's see what we can do. Oops. Somebody just get like that. I didn't do that. Did not do that. Look, right here. Throw it right in there. Literally, throw it right in there.
Oh, that's someone else.
Yep.
Yeah, throw it
Get
right
it in there.
I appreciate it. That's you?
Oh, that is you. No, it's not.
I will leave it.
You're too fat. You gotta use a skinny one, man. Now we gotta get it back up there. So squish your wire down here, and then that'll give it enough. Yeah. There we go. There. Nothing's moving now. Absolutely. I'm gonna put those up there. We got room for papers here almost.
If I press record.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Did we press anything?
You're fine.
Did we press anything?
It's fine. I just.
I got a jumper if you need it.
I can tell. This is how you can get my TV and people's laptops.
They would all line up nicely and still end up like that.
Right.
Oh,
What'd you do, just put a heavier cable up there?
I think I bumped you, but I think we squished it enough there to need it to go in. Yeah.
That's no good. You definitely should be,
Yeah.
if being worn down.
Too late now.
You're still worn
Yeah.
down.
I know. It echoes.
Yeah.
It's like that, though, it's fine.
I haven't realized this is your time and how we get off our So no go, oh, she just wanted like a couple days in a row off.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sick tomorrow now, so, you know.
Seems to be the norm anyway.
I know, we feel good, full. Come on over.
Interesting.
Keep going, keep going, keep going. Yeah. Back here, so.
I've never seen this.
These are all attached. Look.
Manny, can I get the correct spelling of your last name, please?
N-O-G-U-E-R-A.
N-O-G-R-A. Marianne Gallagher? Yeah. Make sure we got these names correct. Eliza Fuller? Aziza. Yes. A-Z-I-Z-A. A-Z-I-Z-A. Chris O'Connell, Fox 29.
Yeah.
Here, and Nina Ferrari. Yep, all right. Anybody else? Ellie Rushing.
Aaron Bowser.
Ellie Rushing. Elle Rushing? Ellie Rushing. E-O-L-I-E. E-L-L-I-E. Rushing. R-U-S-H-R-U-S-H-I-N-G. I-N-G. And like you're rushing and you're in a rush. I-N-G. I-N-G. All right, we got the first name, E-L-L-I-E? No, it's Ellie. Like Ellie. And then so what product we have?
Somebody come in.
Go fast.
Aaron Baskerville. A-A-O-N. Baskerville. B-A. What do you say?
Is it E-I-L-L-E?
B.
Yeah. Do we know which one?
He's with me.
All right. Is he the reporter?
I have it for a long time. I'm gonna say over 10 years. This is the new thing. You want that? Okay. Where's it plastic? Yeah, like a C-clamp you would use in your hardware shop.
Yeah, you can change it
Yeah.
to the.
I just put the.
Yeah, let's see.
I think I'm, oh, you're gonna be off of that. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, probably put me back on
And then I
nights
just use this for,
because of that, because of tennis.
Oh, because of that, okay.
Yeah, so Monday, Tuesday, okay,
Okay.
days, that's, so.
yeah, plastic.
Oh, that's good.
That's why I
Right, is that good? Or-
It's a little hard for me to get up. I don't know.
Yeah,
Strings come
yeah.
out.
I'm only seeing 4 cars.
I was like, no, I'd rather one.
You got to get down here. That's it. You got,
Good, good, good.
you got it in.
I don't mind.
Oh, Benny is.
Test, test.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Especially-
What day, what day, what's that?
No, I have one.
Yeah, 11, 7. It's so.
You can't really cut your pocket and then sign on that. I have your brace on there. Oh, it's really smart.
And I'm now, it's
Yeah.
I know.
Thanks, Joe.
and only 2 of us.
That's not makes sense.
Oh,
And we only have one show.
Hopefully, so just let it turn itself.
Sorry, that's Sunday, we have 2 on Saturday. Sundays.
oh, really? Wow. Yeah.
I've been outside.
Monday at 10 or 11, usually
That's
11
fine.
upstairs.
Like, it's still, it's all like.
Churches. And then they have
Where you are in the space. That's something else that I covered. That's right.
Yeah. No.
And this sucks.
It was hard to see video though. Came out good though.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, that's,
See, Saturday I didn't.
oh, you are recording, yes.
Oh, you were.
Send you a picture of this.
So, that's a nice.
They have to use it.
It's just it's a, I think it's pretty, it's just
Yeah, but we also
Now they say these are fine.
Nice little backup, you know, but.
Moving down with all the time.
No, I actually, okay, because I was doing something, I actually.
The, one person pretty close, one with Captain.
Oh, you do, that's what you got.
We gotta have the spreadsheet. Kevin Bethel is middle, so she's gonna have to come over here.
Heads up, they're all coming down. Yeah, so like.
It's a sheep.
I don't know who that is.
You guys have a
I'm
great
just
angle.
assuming it's a sheep.
I just want to see this.
I didn't set it up this way.
I think we're going to keep them over there. So, that's it. I think two of us can do it. Thank you. Okay. Is everybody ready? Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. This is a press availability as the result of some developments today. We wanted to be available to the press, both Commissioner Bethel and myself, in order to announce and explain that an arrest warrant previously issued for Mr. Boyle has been withdrawn. It has been withdrawn based ultimately on information obtained by the District Attorney's Office this morning, and by obtained, I mean confirmed by the DA's office this morning. Simply put, in my view, and then of course we'll hear from the Commissioner, but simply put, in my view, what this boils down to is that a police detective who was the affiant, in other words, the sworn investigator, on a warrant, presented information that was accurate, it was truthful, and that information made out probable cause for the arrest of Mr. Boyle for violating a specific numbered and actual protection from abuse order. While that appears, by all indications, to have been truthful and in good faith, it was missing a key piece of information that our office was only able to confirm in a meaningful way today. What that piece of information boils down to is that this genuine document, this actual protection from abuse order, was no longer in effect on the relevant dates when Mr. Boyle is alleged to have violated that order. Now, I will say, separate and apart from that, this does not mean, one way or another, that Mr. Boyle committed no crime. That is a matter to be determined later. But based on the information that we have today, which is more complete than the apparently accurate information we had before, we do not find that there is probable cause to justify a warrant for the arrest of Mr. Boyle for violating a protection from abuse order on the dates in question. Having said that, I do want to mention one other thing. While I see no bad faith on the part of the Philadelphia Police Department or on the part of our office, there may be some lessons to be learned here that could possibly provide some checks in the rare circumstances where some of the factors in play here are available. I am under legal restrictions that make it so that I cannot tell you every single thing I know. And I will follow those legal restrictions. I think this office has made it pretty clear that we do not want people sitting in jail for something they didn't do, that we do not want people arrested for something they didn't do, and that we do not want victims to have their safety disregarded. Simply put, this is a situation where newly confirmed information has changed our analysis, and at this point we do not see probable cause and therefore must withdraw this warrant. I don't know, I assume the commissioner has a few words, so I'll just step aside and allow him the opportunity.
All right, thank you, Mr. DA. So as the DA outlined, on a regular basis, we have countless numbers of protection abuse, protection orders that we deal with, as well as protection against abuse. Oftentimes, they do not even involve getting a protection order. It's just the activity of that individual will result in their arrest. As the DA outlined, after reviewing, this information, we received what we believe was a valid protection order, and submitted that as part of our process of bringing this person into custody. Where, as the DA indicated, there are, based on the findings that we have now, some work to do behind the scenes to learn from this issue and to try to figure out how we can make it better moving forward. But the process, at the end of the day, ultimately, the goal is that Mr. Boyle is not being arrested and that the order is being vacated.
What went wrong? I guess that's what people will be asking.
What went wrong? Well, as best we can tell, nobody lied. There is simply a gap in information. As you may know, in a court system, there are some things that happen in a public courtroom, there are some things that happen on a public record, and there are other things that are not reflected in the record, either because they happen in another space or because they are under seal. I am in a position where I cannot comment fully, but I can tell you that I think the bottom line here is that a detective acted on all the information he had. None of it was false, none of it was fake, none of it was forged, but there was a piece that was missing, and I am, while I regret that none of us had it earlier, I will say that I did not want to let this day go by, having been able to confirm this morning that the protection order was no longer in effect as of the dates in question. I didn't want this date to go by without correcting that fact for the public.
Was that because the primary is tomorrow? He's on the ballot. It's obvious people are going to wonder. This, 15 hours before the polls open. Did this have anything to do with it? Number one, and did you have any chance to talk to Representative Boyle about this? Is this the reason why he didn't turn himself in?
Well, I say this respectfully, there's a few questions. Let me see if I can get through them. I have not had a chance to talk to Mr. Boyle. We would love to talk to Mr. Boyle. We look forward to talking to Mr. Boyle, should he choose to do so. I only wish we could have talked to him earlier, but he has every right not to speak to us if he wishes to do that. If the question is whether somehow we're doing this now because of an election, I think my office has been pretty clear that we try to operate in a way that is truly even-handed, that we try to treat unfamous people very much the way we might treat famous people. And I just, regardless of what candidate I might like or might not like, I don't think it's right for people to end this day without information that can be corrected being corrected. I suppose people could look at what happened here and said, oh, it's a big plot against Boyle because there was an arrest warrant. Well, what's this, a big plot for Boyle? Or might it just be that people operating in good faith were missing a fact and went back and got it and corrected it, however imperfectly, once they had it?
Should that detective have double-checked in the system or with the courts that the PFA in his hands was active?
So we are always getting protection orders, always, and even though we may go into the system and find that it's not there or something, we're always going to follow up because of just the way that system works and getting the information in. But the key is to actually have, as we work through that process, an active vacation of that order. And so we're always going to be working diligently, working alongside the DA's office to ensure that those proper things are done. And so despite going into the system, yes, he is expected to go into the system, but he or she is also expected to move beyond that to ensure that the information has been vacated and not just rely on a sole source of going into the computer.
And so did the detective go into the computer and check?
I don't have that information to share with you at this point, but that'll be a part of an internal investigation we will be looking into to make sure we follow all the proper steps.
And had they checked and seen that there wasn't something in the system, should they have checked that it wasn't vacated before?
Well, that's the process, right? The process is going through that as we go through our work of looking for the validation, and working with the DA's office to do that. So again, us not seeing in the system does not preclude us from continuing our investigation work. But you have a valid order in front of us at that time. We're going to treat it that way until we're advised otherwise.
So just for clarity, is that protection order currently active?
So that would be, sure. Okay. The answer is no. That protective order is not currently active.
How did you, you might have said, how did you get to this information in the first place? Like, how did you said you confirmed it, obtained it, like, how did this come to light in the first place?
I'm not at liberty to give you the entire answer there, but I will just reiterate that there are situations in which certain information is not publicly available. And this, of course, is a wrinkle. That's something for the system to work on, to make sure that we don't have a situation where something that says yes is available and something that says but not anymore is unavailable. But what I can say is that we were able to confirm it today.
Do you have any information on Boyle's whereabouts now or his mental state?
I think, like probably many of you, have received a variety of reports from different people. It is my hope that his mental state is being addressed. It is my hope that he and everyone connected with the situation is in a safe place. But I can't tell you more than that. I don't know.
When did you learn that it might not be active anymore? We learned from the courts on Wednesday that there was no active PFA.
Well, I can't comment on what you learned or how you learned or whether it was in writing, although I will say this, and I mean this sincerely. I commend the fact that journalists were diligent about checking into it. That is your job. If you are receiving things that you're not supposed to receive, which could be something, it's still your job to try to figure out what's going on here. There's a difference between somebody saying something on the telephone and having actual confirmation of what's going on. I can tell you we had actual confirmation that would cause us to do this as of today.
You mentioned this doesn't mean that Boyle didn't commit a crime. Can you elaborate any more on that?
Well, it is very common in a domestic violence situation that there may be more than one possible offense that is available as a charge. What our announcement means today is that the offense of violating a protective order is not available in this case. And, we will, in the near future, take another look and reassess and consider whether or not there might be next steps.
Are you able to give any specific details of what you mean by violating a protection order? What was done in that case?
I think it would be inappropriate at this time. The reality is that when a warrant is issued for someone who's not under arrest, it's not supposed to be made available to the public. And there are good reasons for that. One of them is making it available can endanger law enforcement who are going to bring that person into custody. Another is that making it available may identify the name of a victim or a witness and endanger that person. And the third, especially in a case where you have a suggestion of significant mental illness, is that you can induce a suicide. So for the same reason that we are, with very few exceptions, not ready to talk about the contents of a warrant when someone is still out of custody, I would not want to make that mistake again here.
What was it that you learned today that confirmed that it wasn't active?
We had actual specific confirmation That much I can say. I cannot say more than that. It was not simply word of mouth or hearsay. We had actual specific confirmation of a quality that undercut the current application of that actual prior PFA.
What is the process, I guess? I know when you get a warrant, I guess the checks, you said, Commissioner, you said you're going to go through obviously the investigation process of making sure you do all the checks and balances. Can you just describe maybe what the process is when you have a warrant to make sure the checks are right and current?
I'm not clear what your question is. I mean, we're going to, the normal process is what we do. You know, we have a complainant come forward who's providing additional information that this person may or may not have violated that order. The detectives will gather that information. They will gather the protection order, and based on that information, they'll make a decision to move forward. And then we will then send that information over to the DA's office for review to see if they will approve that warrant. That is the process. And so we always are going to, particularly in a case like this or any case, it's our duty to review the work regardless of who the person is, to make sure we're getting that process right, to make sure that we're collaborating effectively with the DA's office to make sure our processes are proper. But if we also, as the DA has indicated, find there's other information, then we need to maybe be able to close that loophole as well.
Commissioner, is there any indication that Boyle may be a threat to his estranged wife at the time right now?
I don't think, I mean, for me, it'd be appropriate for me to speak to that, but I think at any point, not just to him, Boyle, but to anyone who's been a victim of abuse and now have a valid protection order against them based on the context of that order, they could be, but in this case, I can't speak to that.
You mentioned that the investigations are also continuing. Can you speak to the remaining details, the nature of what those investigations are, the timeline, anything like that?
Well, I can certainly tell you that in the near future, we will be looking at the case in more detail to see whether or not any other charge may be warranted. I really think the best way to understand this is maybe mathematical, which is when the warrant was first issued, we had 2 + 2 = 4. Well, it does. Now we have 2 + 2 - 1 = 3. And we didn't know about the -1, but we do know about it now. And we got to keep doing the math. We can't just try to defend what happened before. When there's new information, you have to follow the new information, and you have to apply the law to the information. And that's what we are doing. Thank you very much.
Papers.